All right, folks, buckle up for this deep dive. We're diving headfirst into the Clemson, Texas college football playoff matchup. What makes this one so juicy? Well, for starters, it's the first time these two Titans are going head-to-head. And the stakes, they're sky-high Texas. They're hosting their first ever playoff game. Talk about pressure. And then you got Clemson trying to keep that dynasty rolling, that postseason dominance they're known for.
And remember, this isn't just another playoff game, right? This is a first-round clash in the new expanded college football playoff format. Adds a whole other layer of intensity, doesn't it?
Okay, so let's paint the picture here. You found that Clemson, they kind of snuck in, right? 10-3 record, not exactly dominant. But then you've got Texas just cruising through their first SEC season at 11-2. But there's that one, kind of glaring exception.
Oh, yeah. Can't forget Georgia, right? Ran into them twice, and those were their only two losses. Pretty rough SEC championship game, too.
Oof. Yeah, get bulldozed by the Bulldogs twice. But hey, that's football for you. And speaking of getting bulldozed, the odds makers, they're heavily favoring Texas. We're talking a 452 money line, just to put that in perspective. To win $100 on Texas, you'd have to wager what, like 450?
Yeah.
Whereas 100 on Clemson could net you a cool 346 if they pull off the upset. But here's where it gets interesting. Texas, they've been having some, fumbling issues lately. 7 turnovers in their last 3 games.
Yikes. Yeah, 7 turnovers. That's not a good recipe, especially against a team like Clemson, known for, taking advantage of mistakes.
Right, so you've got this potential chink in the Texas armor that Clemson could definitely exploit. And then there's the whole style clash. You mentioned Texas. They love that high-powered offense, right?
Yeah.
Greenier's airing it out. But then you've got Clemson, much more run-heavy.
Exactly, Texas. They want to throw. And they've got the weapons to do it, but Clemson, they're going to try to pound it on the ground, control that clock,
Right.
which means Cade Klubnik, Clemson's QB, he's got to be on point, laser focus, if they want any chance at that upset.
And then there's this whole Arch Manning thing, right? This wild card. Your research mentioned Joel Klatt suggesting Texas might, pull out some special packages with him.
Yeah, it's a long shot, but hey, it would definitely add some spice, wouldn't it? Klatt even suggested that, Texas's offense might be more dynamic with Manning calling the shots.
Interesting, huh?
So we've got the turnover problem, the style clash, and then maybe, just maybe, an Arch Manning sighting. What else is jumping out at you? From all your research, what could be a real key to this game?
It's got to be the running game, right? You found that Clemson, they're undefeated when they average 5 or more yards a carry. But here's the kicker. No one's done that against this Texas defense all season. They've been a wall against the run.
Whoa. So we've got an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object, right? That's got to be the matchup to watch for sure. It really is that Texas D-line. They've been incredible. But on the flip side, Clemson's rushing attack. That's their bread and butter. You found they're 7-0 when they average 5 or more yards a carry, and all those wins. By double digits. Get that run game going early. They control the clock. Keep Texas's offense off the field.
But man, doing that against this Texas defense, that's a tall order. They're not just big and physical. They're smart. They're disciplined. Your notes mentioned they've been especially tough in the red zone, right?
Absolutely, Texas. Only given up 13 touchdowns in 31 trips inside their own 20. That says something about their ability to lock it down when it matters most.
And speaking of locking it down, Texas needs Quinn Ewers to take care of the football.
Yeah.
We talked about those turnovers, right? If he's not careful, Clemson's defense will make him pay.
Yeah, Ewers, he's got the talent, but he can be a little shaky. Your research mentioned he's also dealing with an ankle injury, right? Could definitely limit his mobility. And on the other side, we've got Cade Klubnik for Clemson. What's the scouting report on him? Klubnik. He's a dual threat QB, but he's still kind of green, Needs to be accurate, decisive. Especially against this Texas D, you found that if he can complete around 65% of his passes, Clemson's offense can move the ball.
So for Texas, it sounds like avoiding those turnovers and containing Clemson's run game, that's key. What about Clemson? What do they need to do to pull off the upset?
Well, they got to get to Ewers, right? Put some pressure on him, force some mistakes. That means their D-line needs to win the battle up front and on offense. Efficiency is key. Convert those third downs. Can't afford to get behind early.
Right, because Texas, they're known for those explosive first quarters, outscoring opponents 108-17 in the first quarter. Clemson can't dig themselves a hole early against this offense.
Nope. If Texas jumps out to a big lead, it'll be an uphill battle for Clemson, especially on the road.
Okay, so we've got a lot of factors at play here. What do you make of the expert predictions you gathered? You mentioned the CBS Sports model leans toward the over, but they're not giving a point spread. Joel Klatt likes Texas 27-17, but he thinks taking the points with Clemson is the smart move. And college football news, they're predicting a 34-16 blowout for Texas.
Yeah, it's all over the place, isn't it? Some experts leaning towards Texas, others giving Clemson a puncher's chance. Really shows how unpredictable this game could be.
So we've got the stats, the matchups, the expert opinions. But what about your gut feeling? What are you most excited to see play out in this game?
For me, it's got to be that battle in the trenches. Can Clemson's O-line, one of the best in the country, hold up against Texas's ferocious D-front? If they can, Clemson's got a real shot.
That's a great point. That matchup could very well determine the whole game. We've covered a lot of ground here. But this deep dive wouldn't be complete without considering the bigger picture, right? This game, it's not just about a win or a loss. This has historical implications for both programs. Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is Texas's shot, right? To really solidify themselves as a national powerhouse. Your research mentioned this being their first playoff game at home. Adds even more fuel to the fire. And for Clemson, it's all about proving they can still hang with the big dogs, even after, well, not their best season.
Exactly. A win for Texas. That's a message to the whole college football world. We're here. We're ready to compete for titles year in, year out.
And a Clemson win shows that programs' grit, their ability to win those huge games, even when the odds are stacked against them.
It's wild, isn't it, how this one game could completely change the course for both programs. Texas win could be the start of a dynasty. Clemson, another Cinderella run, who knows?
So, before we wrap this up, after all this research, what's the biggest question mark for you? Going into this game,
Honestly, can Clemson's D shut down Texas's run game? We talked about how dominant Texas has been on the ground, and they haven't faced a defense like Clemson's. But Clemson's D, they've been a little inconsistent this year. This is the ultimate test.
right, if Clemson can bottle up that run game, they've got a shot. If not, could be a long night for the Tigers.
Yeah, that's the matchup I'll be glued to, for sure.
Well, amazing research as always. I think we've given everyone a pretty good preview of this Clemson-Texas showdown, clash of styles, battle of wills,
Yeah.
and a game that could rewrite history for both programs.
Don't forget, kickoff is December 21st, 4 p.m. Eastern. Even the experts are split on this one. Definitely a must-watch.
Absolutely. Make sure you tune in, folks. See who comes out on top. You won't want to miss this one.
Oh, this you crazy mother.